God, what are you what are you doing, sir? What are you doing up there? This might not make sense, but my God makes sense. And then after that happened, my business really blew up and it really took off late 2020 into 2021. And by that point, I kind of decided to start thinking, like, I was still in school, so it was like I could braid hair and I could do hair, but there was only so much I can do with my time being limited. So I was only able to work about 3 days a week at that point. And then I was about to graduate college, and I remember like a week before graduation, I had struggled with a little bit of like depression a little bit before, but I'd gotten over it. By the grace of God, he delivered me through that. And then going into like about like a week or two before graduation, I went into it again. I was like, nah, God. I was like, I came through this, you brought me through this, I'm not going back into it. And I honestly think it was a little bit of fear in that, like, I feel like when I was in school, I had school as an excuse to like not live out my full potential. Like I had it mapped out what I wanted to do with my business. I knew my goals, I knew exactly what to do, but like I had school to be used as an excuse. So it's like, oh, but what's next? I'm like, you know what? I can't really do much right now because of school and yada yada yada. And when I graduated, I thought about, I was like, yo, when you graduate school, like you really have no excuse. Like you have all the time in the world to do what you need to do. And I'm like, oh crap, like that didn't sit right with me. So I went into this whole just cycle of just spiraling. I was like, yo, like this for real. Like I knew I was doing my business thing and I was doing it, but I was like, this for real? Like it was just a lot. And it was a weird week for me, but I listened to some word, I got back in my word and all that, and I overcame that again, and I was fine. And it became a thing where it was more so exciting, where I'm like, oh, so now you actually have all the free will to do what you need to do. And I'm not gonna lie and say I didn't deal with a little bit of fear and doubt along the way. It was definitely something that I'm still working through, honestly, sometimes, because it's human nature sometimes. It's human nature to just have those moments where you're like, okay, so like getting the clientele and doing hair is the first step. To now take my business to the next level, that's like, whoa, that's a whole different step. And again, God gave, like, I remember there was a time when I launched my hair oil, right before I was about to launch my hair oil. I was like, because I've had this idea since like 2019, and I was supposed to launch it in 2019, but I didn't end up launching it until February of this year, 2022. And I remember late 2021, I was like, God, if this is what you want me to do, give me a sign. When I tell you signs were flying at me from left, right, center, middle, everywhere. The signs were just like, bam, 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 this is what you're meant to do. But for some reason, I still didn't. I mean, I did it because I launched my hair oil business, but I didn't do it in God's timing. And me and my sister talk about this, and this is one thing I'm going to say. And she told me this as well too. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. Because my hair oil business is doing well, it's doing fine. Could it be doing better? Absolutely. And part of me almost wonders, what if I had actually just done this in God's timing and done it when he asked me to do it? Would this business be a lot greater? Because like, I asked for those signs in November, December. Like, that's when I needed those signs, and that's when I asked for it, and he gave it to me like when I tell you, I was looking through every single TikTok video, and they were like, if you're looking for a sign, like them videos and just notes and just different like words of knowledge was coming from every single which way. But I didn't make it happen until March. And part of me just, not that I regret it, but it's definitely something where I'm like, and it's a lesson that God has taught me recently, that it's like when he gives you an idea, don't worry so much about the reality and what's in front of you. And I'm gonna add a diagram that God also gave me, and it's kind of a vision that he gave me, and it kind of helps me understand a little bit better. But when God gives you a vision, just move. Don't get stuck in like, oh, but what about this, what about that? No, he gave you the idea. God is very aware of who you are. He knew I was anxious. He knew I was shy. He knew I was this. He knew I was that. And yet he still gave me that idea. Like, it talks about how he formed you in your mother's womb before like anything. Like, he knew exactly who you are, and he still gave that idea to you. So like, you trying to be like, oh, I'm this, I'm that, but like, that's not what God said. Like, sometimes like, oh, I'm shy, oh, I'm anxious, I'm fearful. But like, what is it, 2 Timothy 1:7? It talks about how God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of peace and sound mind. So I now have those verses that I can kind of go back to when I go through those like anxious or doubtful moments and stuff. But I say all that to say, when God gives you an idea, one, act on it, because he wants you to do it then and there. And even recently I had to teach a class and I was like, I had this model that I wanted to use, and I think I got the idea to text her on like, what was it, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, like earlier in the week I got the idea. But I was like, oh, I'll text her later, Eventually I was like, fine. I texted her on Sunday and I was like, hey, by the way, I wanted to ask if you can be my model, yada yada yada. Guess who said she got her hair done on Friday? If that was not a sign that like when God gives you an idea, listen to it, I don't know what is. And then there was another model too that literally, I think I was supposed to text her on either Thursday or Friday. But again, me being who I am, I procrastinated and I didn't do it till Saturday or Sunday. She was, Kemi, I'm literally so sorry. I literally just got my hair done yesterday. And that was a sign from God where I was like, yo, when he gives you an idea, do it then and there. But the image that I'm gonna add up, it was a vision that God gave me a little while ago where it's like the very first box of the very first place you're gonna step foot on, it's black. It's like, not black, but it's like, it's lit up. You know kind of how in the movie when there's like fog, it's like you can kind of see what's in front of you, but as it fades into the, as it fades, the fog kind of covers it up and you don't really see. And he kind of showed me and gave me this idea that like, all you have to do is that first step. And the more you move, it's like as you put your feet on those next steps, it then lights up and it gets revealed. But if you just see the full picture, if you just see it right now, it just looks like there's only like 2 boxes lit up right now that I can actually step on. You can't really see that far. However, and you could get that and you could be like, well, I'm not gonna move because there's only 2 boxes lit up. What about the rest? That's when your faith kicks in and you're like, okay, as long as I move, as you continue to move, the more and more gets revealed to you. And I truly hope that blesses someone. That was something that definitely helped me out in trying to get out of my head and knowing that like, I just have to worry about where I am right now. And as I continue to move forward, God is going to continue to light up my steps and reveal more and more things to me. I forgot to add this part in, but I just want to say, and although I faced many challenges and difficulties throughout that process, I can now look back and smile and know that God has done a great thing and everything makes sense. And you might not understand what he's doing in the moment. You might not understand it where you're like going through this and you're like, God, what are you doing, sir? What are you doing up there? But I promise you, it will all make sense in the end. And it's all for a bigger picture and a bigger purpose. And holding on to that would truly save you a lot of heartache, a lot of worry, a lot of anxiety, because you rest assured in his peace in knowing that like, this might not make sense, but my God makes sense. And as long as I know that he's in control of my life, this is all gonna make sense at some point. And I'm saying this to you guys, but I'm also saying it to myself because this is something that like I remind myself of often, where I'm like, I don't understand what's going on, but I know I serve a faithful God, one that doesn't fail me, one that doesn't leave me. And I know that it's all gonna make sense and it's all for a greater purpose. So just hold that to your heart and remember that in your tough times and in your difficult times that he's doing an amazing thing, and he who is in control, he makes sense, even though what's in front of you and what's going on doesn't. My hair oil business, I'm still at it, even though I feel like I disobeyed God a little bit and not doing it in his timing. But I still know that he's a forgiving God and he's a merciful God, and whatever it is he wants to do with that business, he's gonna do it, even though, sorry Jesus, but I was a little stubborn. But I say all that to say, he's a merciful God and he's a great God, and he's gonna do amazing things to this business, and I know it. And if I could just continue to remember that vision of just taking the very first step, and he will take care of the rest and he will light up the rest, I know I'll be perfectly fine. I just wanted to share my journey and my testimony and what it is to come. I truly hope this is some type of inspiration or encouragement, or maybe a sign that you're also looking for, maybe a business that God told you to do. Like I said, the number one thing I'll tell you is when God gives you an idea, do it. When he places an idea in your head, you might not understand it, but just move. That's all I can tell you. Just move, because he is very aware of who you are and he still put it in you. That's something special. Just move. Because like I said, I don't know if this is like fact, but this is what my sister told me. Delayed obedience is still disobedience. Because like I said, with the oil business, he told me to do that in December. I didn't do that till March. That's how many months later? 4 months later? That's rude. So yeah, definitely that. And just take the very first step and don't worry about the rest. Take the very first step, pray for peace beyond understanding, and God will guide your footsteps. And honestly, it goes a lot to say. Last thing I'm going to say, my battery's about to die. God will surround you with people that you need. God will surround you with people that are meant to be there. And all you have to do is take that very first step and He will take care of the rest. I say all this to say, may God guide you. May He go with you. May His face shine upon you. And I hope you all have a great and a blessed day. Bye.